Welcome to the first maturity model for Microsoft 365 practitioner session for for 2026. Hope you had a good holiday season and your January is going well. Today, Simon Doy is going to talk about the maturity model for Microsoft 365 Agent, which he's done a bunch of work on. It's pretty cool. We have a core team, and we're always available if you want to get in touch with us. You have suggestions, whatever. We're going to talk a little bit about what we can do with that. If you could go to the next slide, please.
Do that. Sorry, yes. Is that gone?
Oh, that one. So we sort of start off each one of these calls with sort of the same thing every time, though. Whenever I jabber along, it's always a little bit different. We talk a little bit about what the maturity model is, what it looks like, what's available to you. We do a shout out and picture time. We will want you to come on, turn your cameras on so that we can see your smiling faces, so we can take a little video of that. And then we're going to talk about how you can contribute to the maturity model. And then Simon will take it away with his discussion about the Microsoft 365 agent, which is not the right term, but you know what I mean. If you'd like to join us every month, that first link is the recurring calendar series. We don't, we can't manage it as well as we'd like to, so it will also, it will have every month in it. It will also include months that we don't meet, but we'll try and give you plenty of information about that ahead of time. And you can also sign up or grab the meeting invite in meetup.com if you happen to like to use that platform. Simon Hudson.
Okay, so this on our left is the reason we do all this, or the reason we do all this for you, I guess, is to give people a set of tools that let them improve their organization, especially with Microsoft 365 technology, but actually the maturity model can be applied to other proprietary technology platforms, should that be the bag you're into. Most importantly, from my business background, it's really a set of tools to say how are we doing on a set of core business competencies, and those competencies are the ones in purple on the right, and these are the things that most organizations should be at least reasonably good at. And so the business tools within the maturity model is a way of saying where are you and how can you get better, and then using that as a set of structured approaches for going out and making it better. We have some additional tools as well within the overall thing, some practical scenarios, some supporting articles, some elevate articles. I won't get into those in detail now. Have a look at them and see if any of them are relevant. We will generate some more in due course. We've also had a sort of an 18-month-long process of going back through the competencies and sparkling them up. And that's not just a bit of a polish. We've actually been identifying key improvements and the more important of the things you should be working on within the models. We are about to announce the release of the upgraded people and communities and staff and training. I'm stealing your thunder there, Pia. But we'll come back onto that more later in the show. Next slide, please. Oh, I can do it, can't I? I can do it because you're running live. Look at that. Hopefully that's moved on for everybody.
Yes.
Good. A couple of months back, we decided that it was getting a bit complicated. It would be useful if you knew what all this terminology is. So this is the way it all structured. The maturity model itself comprises competencies, principles, how to elevate, scenarios, the stuff we saw on the previous slide. The competencies themselves, the bulk of the model, is broken out typically into those sections of overview, evolution, scenarios, etc. We also are increasingly putting sub-competencies in just to make sure we can break up each of the individual characteristics within a competency and group those together. So you know whether a characteristic is more about collaboration than business process, for example. And then the characteristics are the individual descriptions of what you might be doing right or wrong. So that's how that breaks down. And moving on. We always just give you a quick reminder of what the model is structured around. Level 100, which is pretty damn rubbish, to level 500, which is pretty darn amazing. Most organizations should be trying to strive to be at level 300 across the board. And then with some areas at level 400 or above, if those are core competency areas for them. So see what you can do to get yourself to at least level 300 in all the competencies. So just that. And that brings us very quickly to our turn on your video, look happy moment. What we try and do is capture a picture of everybody waving. It goes into a bunch of stuff that Microsoft likes to do, which is around seeing attendance. But more importantly, it gives us next month's picture for our slide deck, where we can see the people who were brave enough to turn their camera on and say hi. So let's do that now. Everyone, if you're up for it, please turn your camera on. Thank you for those who are doing it already. So turn your camera on.
Drum roll.
And then who's going to do the honors? Mark, you're the expert. Are you going to do the capture and commit?
Oh,
Yeah,
Isn't that good Simon's assignment?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to. I think when I'm sharing, who doesn't like it? No, let's see. I'm just going to share my screen because I think that will work. So let's do that. Oh, dear.
Going to.
This is always a nightmare.
Pia, did you say good Simon?
Yes, I have a rule
So
that
does that
whenever
imply there's a bad Simon?
yes, evil Simon.
Guilty as charged.
okay. There we go.
Correct.
I see us.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
here we
have
are.
the normal tool, so I'm just going to just do that.
Am I
Right.
waving? Can I see?
This is the hardest part of the call every week.
Oh, 100%. Right. Everyone wave. Thanks for being here.
Yay.
We got some empty seats. We have to recruit some more people next time.
Yeah, get some cardboard people up here. Oh, you need that.
Thank you so much for
We've
that.
got 70
Right.
people in the meeting. 70.
But just to respond to your question, Carol, it's very important for me because, I have problem with names. So if there's two people with the same name, there has to be a good one and an evil one. So if we're in a meeting together with, another Carol, then, we'll see.
I was gonna say, let's not introduce any more Carols because I'm fearful of where I would end up.
Well, that's your choice.
Right.
Like,
Hopefully we should have a new slide on, an overview.
Yes.
yes. Serious face on. So.
Pia, do you want to take us through this one? Come on.
Oh, should I? Yes. Get involved. That's what we want. And because nobody knows everything, but together we know pretty much everything and have maybe some misconceptions, but we want you all to, join in and add your things. You can actually add things to the articles. You can also join us in this meeting with, a practical scenario that we, also could write up but then talk about, like, how did you use the model for, something in your business or, as a consultant or something that just made the world a better place when it comes to governance and maturing the business. So no one is an expert, and everyone, there are no stupid questions except for, excuse me, officer, isn't it morally wrong to let me go with a warning when I was actually speeding? That is a stupid question. The other ones are not. So, please do join. And all we want is for, spread the word to, people using this and asking questions and getting involved. Like, what do you mean by this? And I don't understand this. And I think maybe this is in another place. Like, we love those kind of discussions. So please join us. Did I do a good job?
Perfect.
Great.
Mark, what have we got up and coming?
Yeah, so here we are in January. That's the green one. Simon is going to talk in a few minutes. We have an open slot in February. We're working hard to fill it. We will fill it. There will be something amazing in February. Trust us. In March, Matt Swarnoff, who is on our core team and is just absent today, will be, I believe, unless he's here and lurking, we'll be talking about our new security competency. It's been a long time in the works, and we're going to get it out there definitely, actually probably sooner rather than later. We have a bunch of new content that we're pushing these days. In April, we have revisiting staff and training competency. Believe it or not, we've been doing this for about 5 years. And in the beginning, we sort of went through each competency and introduced it and said, this is what it is and how it works and all that sort of stuff. We want to this year take a revisit of some of the more commonly used competencies to, just make sure everything still makes sense. We're doing updates to sort of bring things forward. In May, Modern Compliance in Microsoft 365, a maturity model perspective with Joanne Klein. If you know Joanne, she is a purview queen, I would say. I mean, I've learned a lot from her. She's a fellow MVP, and she has a lot of great insights into how compliance and purview fit into a maturity model perspective. So that'll be great. The rest of the year, we're again working on filling the spaces. We do take a summer break and we take a winter break, but we will have sessions in the fall and we will fill those in as we get them. So watch for those spaces.
Yeah, and I just want to add, like, it looked like it was a little bit thin, but we have so many discussions, bringing back all these old ones have been doing it, and they were all excited to come back and talk about it. We're just, hashing out, which date is going to work for who. So, like, great content and great speakers are coming.
These are sorry, go ahead, Simon.
No, Mark, I was going to just say we talked about this. This is what's up and coming. Mark, I'm going to hand back over to you on this. But
move forward.
All right.
No need to be redundant. We want to give you enough time to talk through your stuff.
Cool. So the next session's February the 17th. So
to be determined.
We've got quite a few conversations, haven't we? So
yeah.
We've got some good people we're chatting to. So. But of course, there's always space for our attendees here as well. If you want to talk to us about how you've used the maturity model, we'd love to hear how things have gone well or not gone well as too. Warts and all. So that'd be really good.
And cool. Finally, Simon, guest star of the day, take it away.
Cool. So we're going to talk about this maturity model for Microsoft 365 Agent, please ask questions. I'll do my best to kind of monitor chat as well, but if I haven't picked up on anything, then please just shout. But raise your hand. There's a couple of questions we're gonna have via a form as well, which I'd love to get your thoughts on what you would like to see, what challenges you're having with the maturity model as well, and maybe we can use a bit of AI to help on that. So let's go. So why did we come up with this? Well, there aren't enough co-pilots, are there? There's just so many of them, so we thought we'd better bring our own co-pilot as well. This was AI generated, this image. So we've brought out the maturity model for Microsoft 365 Copilot, because you can never have enough co-pilots. But really, the reason we brought it out was because, AI is so useful. Why can't we apply what we do and give you an expert that's available to you that can help you digest the maturity model and use it? And we can also then, I think, learn a lot from what people are doing with it, and the questions are asked of it, so we can help support that process of understanding how you apply the maturity model to your business, and allow you to understand how you can do it and give us feedback so we can improve how we apply the maturity model to our businesses all over. I imagine that the agent, it's probably a reasonable starting point, but I'm sure it will evolve into being something much, much more useful and completely different to what we all have. The core team have been, last week we were all chatting about what we thought it should do, and there's some stuff which I hadn't thought about at all, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? So hopefully we can build a tool which we can all use and make our lives a bit easier, but also get to the point where we can deliver solutions for our businesses and for our careers which kind of make a difference. So what is the maturity model for Microsoft 365 Agent? Well, it's built on Copilot Studio. It's free. You can deploy it to Microsoft 365 Copilot if you've got licenses for that. You can also deploy it as an app into Teams. So if you haven't got 365 Copilot, you can do it that way. As you can see there's a little screenshot of it running. It's really allowing you to ask questions over information that's held in the learn.microsoft maturity model for Microsoft 365 section of the Microsoft 365 Learn or Microsoft Learn website. So you can get answers to your maturity model questions. As I say, it's grounded on the maturity model content. It can support you in your assessment of your competency maturity level, and it can help you understand how you can move from one maturity level to another. And I'm sure there's more and more that we can do as we start to kind of go down this journey together.
Sorry to interrupt, Simon, but does it answer the question correctly that you I'm thinking about? Who is the coolest person in the core team?
It did. I've taken it out though now, so yeah, so it's incorrect now. But yeah, that's a very good point, Peter. Yes, it was one of the Simons was the coolest day, but I've taken that out. But we'll have to put some Easter eggs back in again. But what's planned? Allowing you to see what's new with the maturity model, and really a lot more testing to ensure that it's giving the desired help. So we'll provide a way to be able to give us feedback. But also linking to the community resources as well, so making it easier to find out when the maturity model sessions are on. Knowing where that we've got the LinkedIn group and all these resources available to you to support your maturity model journey. So I do have some questions for you. Hopefully you can see that link. Now I was going to share the results actually as well, so I will do that, but if you could click on that link, and then I'll share the screen and then maybe go through those questions. Let's make sure I'm on the right profile. I'll just share my screen shortly. Too many. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to share this and I'm going to present.
The hardest question so far is how many years of experience with Microsoft 365? When did they rename it? See, that's the question.
Yeah, BPOS and Office 365 are also allowed. Yeah,
there should be, like in the years above 10 years, it would be like Yoda, Gandalf years.
Has anyone submitted anything yet? I guess you've got to put the features in, haven't you? Cool.
There we go. Things are getting exciting.
Yeah. Oh, more than 10 years. Good. Oh, okay. So good. We've got a good selection, haven't we, of different. I've missed some options, haven't I? I'm missing out on other. Cool. Okay. Great.
Please keep filling that out. We'll be collecting that information and thinking about it afterwards.
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so what features or capabilities would you expect from a maturity model for Microsoft 365 Agent? So knowledge base, improvements by competency, knowledge base, road mapping, questions which are relevant, maturity model, administrator settings. Okay, interesting. Yeah, usage and data. Oh, that's interesting. Current usage. Okay, so would that be from your tenant? If anyone wants to pop in the chat their thinking for usage. Customized model. Okay, cool. Level analysis responses back from agents. Okay. And then, so that was the first one. That's great. Thank you very much. We'll study those. And then the next question, I won't go to the presentation back, but the next question was then, what challenges are you facing, or, using or trying to apply the maturity model for Microsoft 365? So, so that's interesting. So, Copilot in OneNote. Okay. Model for an organization. I think that's really interesting. Integration is only valuable. Research accuracy. Yeah. Okay. Research engine. Executive
Seems
buy.
like a little bit of cry for help here. We want time. We want one-stop shop. We want executive buy-in.
Yeah.
And
Governance.
someone snuck in that Google notebook. Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, brilliant. And then I did ask if people wanted to be willing to be contacted for follow-up questions, so we can do that. So thank you for that. Right. And then if you do that, then you'll provide our email. Right. So let me switch back to the presentation. I'm just going to present back in Teams. Okay. So yeah, we talked through the features and capabilities, so we'll review those. So thank you very much for your feedback there. We then talked about the challenges. So a real, wide selection. I think it's really interesting. The one I did pick out was the sort of the accuracy of research and the model. I think that's really interesting. But would you like to see a demo? Should we show you the maturity model? Okay, the agent. So I'm going to share my screen again, and this is it currently. This is running in M365 Copilot. I'm going to pull up my prompts so that I can remind myself what it is I'm going to type. But yeah, so like I say, it can appear in here. So if when you install it, and I'll share the instructions, there is a new release that's coming out. So I'd suggest you wait for that one, because that's going to have a couple of additions there. But you can see here, if I do maturity model, once you've deployed it, you can see it here. So I can go in and access that, and then it will appear down the left-hand side. And then it just works very much like Copilot Chat or M365 Copilot. So the first question I'm going to have is this one. I'm a Microsoft 365 developer. Why should I care about the maturity model for Microsoft 365? So one of the things we're trying to do is reach out to other parts of the community. And some of the community sessions we are getting involved in is on the kind of the developer community sessions as well. So trying to explain to them, what the maturity model and how it could help them do more, developers do more cool stuff. So what have we got? So as a Microsoft 365 developer, the maturity model is highly relevant because it provides a structured framework for aligning your development work with organizational goals and user needs. And here's why you should care. So aligning development with business value, So looking at the digital maturity journey, ensuring that the solutions you build, whether they're custom apps, workflows, integrations, are appropriate for the current capabilities and priorities. It's giving you an example as well. So that's great. Looking at how we can identify high impact opportunities as well, whether it's improving collaboration, search, or customization and development. As a developer, you can target gaps with solutions that deliver measurable improvements. What was that? Was that a question? No. Okay. Helping you build sustainable, scalable solutions, improving your adoption, user experience. So yeah, giving you the insights into how to sort of roll out and put in staff and training, so that the solutions you're building people will use. And then, as all of us, when we started, particularly, from a development or a particular area, we started our journey in our job, we will realize that we need a lot of other skills, softer skills. In a developer, it's not just coding; it's also thinking about governance and compliance and adoption. So then it's kind of leading. Go on.
We got a question in the chat. It's like
Yeah.
the response doesn't include footnotes to its references. How can we be sure the information is accurate? Pretty fair.
That's a very good question. It should be. It should be putting citations in, actually. Okay.
And I also asked for questions in the chat, so just to really, really see what's happening here.
Yeah,
Okay,
the lack of citations is something I noticed earlier, Simon, that it ought to reference which competency or other document.
Yeah.
It's currently not doing.
No, it isn't. Okay. I think that
But
might be
we're in beta stage. We're allowed to have these kind of little wrinkles.
All right. So cool. So let's have a look
Sorry.
here. So we'll take Mark Morris's question first. So what are some key ways to identify a client's current maturity score in competency? Should we go for, what do you want to go for? Communication? So let's go for that. So to identify a client's current maturity score in the communication competency, you should assess their practice against 5 maturity models. So indicators, level 100. So it's going to then talk about the characteristics or the indicators of being in a particular level, and then the questions which can be asked around seeing if we are in that level or above. So
the way we've always talked about figuring out what level you're at for any particular competency is you sort of read down and see how long it sounds like you, or how long you feel like, oh yeah, we're way past that, and then you finally hit one and you say, oh, that's not us, and you sort of have to go back one. So this is good because it gives you a quicker summary of those levels and makes that scan a little bit easier. I think there's a lot more in that competency article to sort of digest. Sorry, Simon.
Yeah.
Simon, does the background prompt prioritize the ones which got sparkles by them in terms of those characteristics?
No.
Okay, that's another one to add to the backlog.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. So we'll go through the next one. So Pierre is going to say who's the coolest in the core team. Yeah, so I can see it is hooking into citations, but for some reason it is not pulling those in. I'll have to look at why that is. So then that's from David. I have a client sitting at level 200 competency in AI. What types of consulting engagements could I offer to get them to level 300? Okay, we'll go for another one from Mark. I'm just going to go through them. Okay, let's have a look, see what this comes up with.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, we need a soundtrack for this.
We do. I'm sorry, I'm also reading the next chat questions. Okay, so to help a client move from level 200 to 300, from managed to defined, we could focus on building structured governance and adoption around AI usage. Here are some high-level engagement types. Develop and outline an AI strategy aligned with business goals. Identify high-value use cases. Define metrics, ROI expectations, all kind of common stuff, I think. Create a roadmap, including governance and compliance considerations. Why, it's great, isn't it? Why is it that we're doing this? So saying that often organizations at level 200 lack a strategy, a coherent strategy, whereas 300 requires that strategy intent. Quick win. So how we can quickly start showing some value. Interesting. Let's use power virtual agents. Oh dear. So implement Copilot and Microsoft 365 apps, implement AI-driven chatbots for FAQ and HR queries, document classification using SharePoint Premium, or as it was, Syntex. Quick wins building confidence and organizational buy-in for broader adoption. As why, data readiness and governance. And yes, I mean, it seems to cover all the pieces which you'd want if you're starting to move an organization down its maturity level for AI. Enabling skills, talk about conducting workshops and prompt engineering and critical thinking, and then building a champions program to drive the adoption, and then putting together a governance and responsible AI framework in there as well, and having links into the trusted AI principles. Cool. Okay.
There was a really interesting question, like, is the agent simple knowledge base, or does it go beyond? And let's take it to the test. And I put into the chat here: create a question battery for the business process competency to send out in a form, to see if we could actually extract, intelligence from this agent to be like, okay, if we're going to do this, because you can do a quick assessment in many different ways. We did last year. We did a really fun episode, I should almost say, about like how to run the quick assessment workshop. But you can send out a form and get people be like, okay, what do you think and feel about this? So let's see.
And I can see that people are asking, is this available in the Microsoft? This is not a Microsoft built agent. This is something that I've built actually, but it is available to anybody. It will be on GitHub. There will be some links later on. It will eventually go into the rest of the maturity model GitHub repo, but just while we're doing sort of quick iterations, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't. I could be ready for this presentation, to be honest. So, but it will merge into the maturity model, learn.microsoft.com content. Okay, so create a question battery for the business process community to send out in a form. Okay, so just on the questions around, is it just a simple knowledge-based agent, or does it go beyond the knowledge? So it doesn't hook into your Microsoft 365 environment. It's certainly something we could have a think about. We could have a think about how we would do that.
Look at that beautiful answer. Okay, yeah, and it would be cool to have it to look into what is the adoption level. Do we have any, security labels, give that kind of information or get that information. But it's also then then all of a sudden we have an agent that needs to access information, and then, then we have to pull it through IT security.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So
really what you're doing here is you're talking to the corpus of content that we have that's part of the maturity model, everything that's available on learn.com or learn.microsoft.com and the web, right?
Yeah, so at the moment we are just honed in on the maturity model. We're not letting it
Right.
use its own internal knowledge, and we're not letting it go to any other web sources. It's just purely
Got
what's
it.
in the
Yep. Keeps it clean to what we've managed to write over the last 5 years.
yeah, exactly. And because there are other maturity models for Microsoft 365 by other people.
Yep.
So I don't want we wouldn't want it to go off and muddy the waters and bring that in as well.
If someone
yeah.
takes this and installs it in their environment, could they add additional resources?
Yeah, they could actually. They can add additional knowledge sources. It does at the moment. The way it's delivered is a solution, so the actual agent can't be changed. But knowledge sources you can add in and then publish those as well. And yeah, and if people wanted the unmanaged version, which can be modified and changed, then we can we can make that available too. It's just all it is when you've got a managed solution. If you need to make changes to it all works nicely. When it's unmanaged, it leaves things in. So if you delete the solution, it will leave all the components in. So it's cleaner if it's a managed solution. But yeah, so this is these are the questions you're getting. Pia, is that giving you what you would expect?
Yeah, I think so. Because then also what you want with this is, you put it out to a bunch of different people, and maybe want to add where they're from. Maybe also, like, do you consider yourself to be really good at Microsoft 365, or some of those questions, and then also let AI analyze the answer and go for. But it is very important that when you do this, as in anything else, is that when you're trying to do this, you need to read the questions properly, and you have to think about the answers. It's like we haven't tested it. This was a great idea from the chat that we tested right now. We didn't think about it when we were kicking it around in our last meeting. So don't trust us that much yet.
No. Okay. Cool. Right. So the next one then, sort of use case, is I'm meeting with my boss. He's the CIO, and I want to talk to him about how the maturity model for Microsoft 365 can help the business. Can you come up with a compelling story to help win them over? So let's see what it comes up with. So, again, it's, sort of thinking about how we can use this to help businesses. So, here's the story that it's come up with. Right now, our organization is investing heavily in Microsoft 365, but like many companies, we're probably only scratching the surface. We have lots of powerful tools, but without a clear roadmap, adoption is uneven, governance is inconsistent. So it's kind of setting the scene. Then tells about the maturity model, giving a business-focused framework, aligned to business outcomes, and some questions here we can ask. We can then paint the vision. Imagine instead of ad hoc team sprawl, we have predictable governed collaboration, and we have automated workflows. And then showing the business impact. Organizations that use the maturity model typically have reduced operation, improved compliance, and then showing how it's positioning it as a strategic tool, and then giving a close as well with a call to action. So I'd like to propose we start with a baseline assessment using the maturity model to kind of work out where we are, and then produce a roadmap of prioritized actions. So yeah, so that that's giving that's like a story arc then, or which you can then go in and present. Would people find that useful? Cool. Okay, so coming back to a little bit similar to Mark's, then please pop your comments in the chat. We talked about the communication. Let's do collaboration, because we've already done communication. So this is, I'm interested in us being more mature in the collaboration competency. Can you help me assess my level for collaboration as we're looking to work out our current level? Okay, that kind of made more sense when I was writing it. But so this is going to look at the maturity model, the collaboration competency, and then sort of look at those characteristics, and then kind of we can then we can ask it to give us a set of questions so we can then assess where we are on that level. You know, as Mark was saying, we kind of start at level 100, look at those characteristics. Are we doing those things? Okay, great. We can then move to level 200. So it's kind of listing out in collaboration what the differences are between each of the levels. And then would you like me to create a self-assessment checklist? Yes, please.
I sent in a question that I want to test. Like,
Okay.
explain to me like I'm 5.
Okay.
What is people and communities good for in my company of, oh, it was supposed to be 300 engineers, not 0 engineers.
Okay, cool. I will
Wow.
do that.
Yeah, but I want to, after this.
Okay. How are we doing for time? Okay. It's obviously now doing a little bit more this time. So here it's coming up with what I do love is every time. Sometimes when I do these, sometimes it asks questions and then it goes, "Oh, I've created this file," which I can't download.
Oh.
So can you list out the questions?
Yes, it's important to put in the please, because when the bots take over the world, we want to be on their good side. I want to be one of the living slaves who get to see the sun sometimes. So, add your please and thank yous.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's listed out the levels. So can you ask me in the chat?
And this, installing this agent also is very good for you that you want to join in to make the model better, because then you can ask the agents, like, okay, do you actually take in this thing into, so you don't have to, study hard the entire maturity model to help and make it better.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So level 100. So do we do most of these things? Does collaboration happen mainly via email or in person? So via in-person meetings. Is there a formal process? Yes. 3. Folder structures copied from with no. 4. Do users have little or no training on collaboration? They have training. 5. Is external collaboration blocked or managed? It is managed. Okay, so you get the idea that it's going to kind of lead us through an assessment for each of those ones.
This is something that people have been asking us about for years. How can we assess our organization? I mean, everybody tends to want it to be very quantitative. You're at 106.2, and that's not the sort of mindset behind this. It's more, how can we figure out generally where we are? And I like the fact that you're able to discuss this with the agent, and you can get insights into how where you feel you are, and then I would think after you've answering all these questions, you could also ask it for, okay, give me a summary of this assessment or something like that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have question 4 and question 5 results are wrong from Jonathan. Jonathan, sorry.
Yes, he is right. It should say 1, shouldn't it? Yeah. Metadata, name and convention juice, but not standardized. I must admit, these questions are not the greatest compared to all the other times I've run it, but anyway.
And it would be so great to be able to talk to it. I haven't really tried talking to Copilot, but I have been talking to other AI, and it's good to have a conversation. This would probably work too. And if it could talk back, I would want it to have Mark's voice. So can we do some sampling of your voice so you can, the voice of reason, calmness, and being kind?
Oh my goodness. Pressure.
I have to see. This is not going well. So it's saying no, but training is provided. That should be a yes. But anyway, so you're not fully at level 200 either. It's saying. Anyway, I'm going to abort this now.
Well, I think
can you
the good thing is we've got this out there and available for people to install. Like you said, it's a solution, and you'll have a link for that on the last slide. But it's also an opportunity for people to suggest improvements to it. So, for example, if they see that the scoring mechanism isn't working, we can raise an issue in your repo, and it's not open source truly, but at least we can gather ideas there, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's right. So, Sean, you're saying yes, it wants yes or no answers. Yeah, but the questions it was asking that time were not yes or no answers, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'll have to do a bit more on the instructions to make it always do yes or no. So, let's see. Is it explain like I'm 5? ELI 5. So we've got people and communities in the maturity model is all about helping your employees connect, share knowledge, and build a sense of belonging.
I don't know what 5-year-old will be like, yes, I get it now, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Reword this.
There we go.
Ooh, sharing toys.
It's like a big playground for your company where everyone can talk, share toys, and help each other. Here's why it's awesome. Everyone can share. If you learn something cool, you can tell everyone. There you go. That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like having a big clubhouse. Oh. Oh. Happy to help, Mark. I use it a lot, actually. So I know so much more about Legos now.
Cool. Right. So we've got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's talk about how we install it.
Yes, that sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Right. So let me go back to that. Go back to PowerPoint and present in Teams. Well, thanks for letting me take you through this. So how do we install it once it's get back to slide 24, 25. Oh, we did have some more questions around gaps. We can come back. Let's go to the installing. We can always come back. So yeah, if we go here, so currently it's here. So there's a link to the maturity model. The latest version is 1.004. There's a 1.005 about to get launched. So wait for that to come. So to get access to the solution, it's in here, and you can just download this zip file. But if we go back to the, oh, sorry, do you know what I'm doing? I am
Still
now
showing the slides. Yeah.
I'm still showing the slides. Right. Oh, that's genius, isn't it? Right. So so this is the GitHub README homepage. So we've got the maturity model for Microsoft 365 agent. As I was saying, currently the latest version is 1.004. There's going to be a 0.05 coming out very shortly, pretty much straight after this. So use that. If you click on the assets, you've got then you can click on this and download the zip file. The README documentation is all here. So what you'll need is a copy of the zip file, access to a Power Platform environment, Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and then to install it, you follow going into Power Apps. So yeah, you just follow this process, and I could show you actually. So you go in here, you'd go into solutions, and then import solution. You've already downloaded your file, so we'll just take that one. Click on next. It'll just take you through a little wizard. The first time you run this, because it's talking to the Learn Microsoft Maturity Model MCP server, you might need to sort of go in here and sign in. And you click next, and then leave that, and then click import. And that will then go off and import the solution. So I'll just go back to here. So that's what we're doing here.
Now, what permissions does somebody need to do this? If you touched on it, I apologize.
No, that's so they need to have. I haven't. So the permissions, they need to have access to a Power Platform environment. So they need to be a system customizer or system administrator in that environment. Then what they're going to do is go through the process of publishing the Copilot. To do that, they will need to be sort of a Teams administrator in their tenant to be able to make that available. You can publish it, and then you could then, if you've got a separate admin team, they will need to go in and approve that Copilot agent to be available. So I don't think I've put
know.
instructions on that.
Maybe you guys can help me out, but if you start a trial Microsoft 365, would you do we get Power Platform, in the start free version for the 30 days? If someone wants to play around with it, but is not allowed to put it into their own tenant?
So you would have access to the Power Platform as long as you've got E3, E5, Business Standard, those things, which I think the trial gives you sort of it gives you 25 licenses, doesn't it? Normally of like an E3 Business Standard type license.
But they won't give you Copilot license.
No.
Yeah, but if you could, is it possible to buy Copilot for a month? Or do you have to buy them yearly?
You can pay for it monthly, but I think you're committed for a year, even if you pay for it monthly. Yeah. So, but you could just deploy this as a Teams app, and then you don't need the Microsoft 365 Copilot. But I have turned this on for Microsoft 365 in these instructions. So I will put in some more details around what permissions you need. But you publish the find my thing. So we've now seen that we should have this maturity model agent here. Go into here, and we should see the agent available. If I click on that, it'll take me to Copilot Studio. It takes a while. So this grey button will appear eventually once it's spun everything up. So you're able to publish that. And then once you've published it, then you have to go into here. And this is then where you make it available to Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. I've got to publish first. And we might just hit an issue. Let's see if this works. We might hit an issue here, but let's see.
Not necessarily for the faint of heart, but if you're an organization that's taking advantage of agents, this ought to sit next to other agents that your organization is building.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. But it's exactly the same process as if you were building your own agents in Copilot Studio. There's an issue we've got. That's why we're going to have a 1005. But once you've done that, you go into here. You need to edit the details, and you can just there's an image there's a little icon here which we provided, so you can download that. and give it a nice branding. Unfortunately, we can't sort of configure all that Microsoft 365 Copilot and Teams, not through this experience, because it would be nice if we could just do that all for you. Put your company name in there, and then you publish it. So it's not branded to anybody. The first time you run it, you'll be asked to set up a connection. So you'll see you'll get this message here. You click on that Open Connection Manager. It'll ask you it'll already be in a green tick. It'll ask you just to submit it, and then you can then click on retry, and then it will then start outputting all the content.
Yeah,
Cool.
and before we move on, because like we have 3
Yeah.
minutes, but if someone wants to stick around, maybe someone will have questions. I'm sure we can stick around to try to answer those. But what you just showed us in Visual Studio, right? That is where we would add this, more instructions or add things ourselves. So, right?
Yeah. So there's certain things which you can and certain things you can't do. So with when because it's a managed one. So if you wanted to go in here and you wanted to add in more knowledge, maybe you've got some SharePoint content where you could then add those. That's absolutely fine. You can make changes to those and add
Like,
that.
for instance, adding your own IT policies or, handbook, governance document to like check where we're at. You could add that. Okay.
Yeah, so you could do that.
Asking for a friend.
Okay. And then, but this one here, you can't change this because it's non-customizable. It's the knowledge is managed, so it won't let you save it basically. So even though you can change it, it won't let you save it. But you can add those things like instructions as well. They are also managed. You can't change it, but we can always give a unmanaged solution version and make that available so people can make those changes too. Yeah. So, but this is the instructions it's using. So if Ralph is on, then he will recognize some of these instructions.
And also, like in the future, like you probably will be able to make your own agents a lot better. But this one is going to have the Easter eggs. This one is going to be the fun one. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Okay, you got some questions in the chat here.
Okay, let's have a look.
So something about credits. Does using this agent consume any credits, or is it purely web derived?
Right. So if you are using, this is one of the reasons why we're using M365 Copilot. If it's deployed to a user with M365 Copilot, then it's part of their license, so it doesn't consume any credits.
Good.
But if you
so
didn't
no
have
pay as you go.
No, yeah. But if you didn't have and you were doing it into Teams, then yeah, you would need to have some. You'd need to have some credits or pay as you go set up. But I have gone for the easier M365 Copilot approach.
Yeah, and that's good, right? We want to keep it slow because now it's the first one. Don't kill us, please. I'm trying to make fun and have jokes about this, but don't get angry when it isn't working the way you were expecting it to. Just let us know, and we'll try to work with it together with you. And there's like this, this is a great opportunity to interact with us. Like we have a LinkedIn group, and you can also, through issues and stuff on GitHub. Now this is on Simon's GitHub and not on the Learn, because it takes so much longer to put up stuff like this in Learn. But we're trying to do that for you, to get it so you can just click and go. But we're not there yet.
Cool. Yeah. So So Mark was just asking. Mark was saying, is this versioned? Yes, it is, and we're using all the Power Platform versioning stuff. So and I'm working on a way that it can kind of tell you that there's a new version available as well. So cool. Right. Well, thank you very much for everyone for.
We have the ending slide. I forgot that the last time. Don't do what
I'm going to do that. So we'll just quickly bring that up. But yeah, just wait to 1005, which will be out very shortly. And So, and yes, we will be sharing this. So thank you so much. Next session is February the 17th, but please keep in touch with us and let us know how you get on as well, please. Probably easiest through the LinkedIn group, I would imagine. So,
Yes, we're 120 people, happy to be there. So please join us there and ask questions and, roast us. You're allowed to roast me anyways if you're funny. So.
cool. All right.
I
Thank
think
you very
we'll
much.
put the link to the GitHub how to install it repository in LinkedIn.
Yes. Great idea. Cool. There it is now. Brilliant.
Yes.
Awesome.
Give me 10 minutes and then there'll be a new version and you can try that out.
Great. So
Brilliant.
thank you, everyone. Great session as always. Good, Simon.
Thank you so much. All right. Cheers all. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Bye.
Next month.
Bye.